आज की अदालत नहीं लग रही है.
Good evening. I am Parag Paranjpe, moderating for this session. And if you all attending this program to see Avinash Tiwary as an actor, then I will warn you, you will be disappointed. So, no, that's perfect, thank you. Because for whatever little interaction that I had with him in early this morning and just half an hour back, I think what the idea that he has about entrepreneurship is radically different. And what he has thought about the entire ecosystem is definitely radical. You may not agree with him. But when we are talking about 10x in 10 years, that genesis lies at some place which is often the most ignored part, and that is innovation. Yesterday, I think you were there in the inaugural session when I think Mr. Gupta from Karnataka state, he mentioned Anthropic, the company which in AI space raised money at a market capitalization of some $380 billion. And the largest company in India, Reliance, is somewhere close to around $200 billion. And Anthropic is just 2.5 years old. And Reliance is there for last couple of decades. So what was that thing that Anthropic did correct? I'm not saying Reliance is not doing that. But yes, there is something which is happening in the entire innovation space, technology space, the entire entrepreneurship space. One aspect which is often been ignored is the innovation. So we are talking about this innovation and funding that innovation, because when enterprise takes shape, capital comes, right? But what before the capital comes? What about the idea, right? So without me taking much of a time, I will ask Avinash to share his idea, because obviously we cannot take actor out of him. The storytelling part of it, which most of the creative people are well versed with. So he is going to take us through that journey to understand what that story is, and also about the entrepreneurship we are talking about for past couple of minutes. He has a very different views. So what is that story? Why it is so important? And let's hear from him what he has his thoughts about. What can be done? What is being done? What should be done? So over to you. And as I said, he has a presentation, not a very large one, but then definitely thought-provoking. And after he finishes his presentation, we will open the floor for Q&A. So over to you.
Thank you, sir. Hello, sir. Please welcome. I'm glad there are more people to listen to me.
Listen to you all the way.
That's so kind of you, sir. Before I start, I really want to tell you a couple of things about myself. Like when I was coming here today, my mom called me, and on a video call, I showed her the IIM campus. And she said, "Mera beta jo 12th pass mein hai." So I couldn't finish my engineering. I quit it in second year, and she would always say that, "ये घर का जो दीवार पेंट कर रहा है, वो भी 12th pass है." So for a moment, I think, just because you guys invited me, she's sitting there very happy. So thank you guys. Secondly, I cannot deny that I've been on stage several times, I've spoken several times in my entire life being an actor. but I've never felt this intimidated. And one of the major reasons for it is the kind of intellect and wisdom that this kind to me and let it go. Okay. Invincible India is an idea that occurred to me about a year back, and it's really fascinating for me that I actually open it out to the world today here in Nagpur. Nagpur 0 mile. From here, India measures its distance. Every highway, every milestone. Today I want to measure a different distance. The distance between an idea in a small village and ownership in global economy. We here celebrate startups. I got a privilege of sitting with a few gentlemen out talking about the startup ecosystem and how this entire country is talking about the entrepreneur ecosystem. स्टार्टअप बोलते ही मेरे आसपास के लोग उसे शार्क टैंक समझते हैं, है ना? Some people I've heard say vultures, ठीक है? Sharks, vultures. सुनकर ही डर लगने लगता है. Considering this is the land of Mowgli, you know, just so. As a layman, I try and understand what is this difference between, welcome guys, please have a seat. What is this, sorry? They absolutely are. I started early. So I'm trying to understand, sir, what's the basic difference between a businessman and an entrepreneur? How do I make that distinction? If I have to say to my sister, what do I tell her? What is the clear distinction? थोड़ा गूगल पे सर्च मारें तो पता चलता है कि entrepreneurship needs innovation, it needs risk, it creates a newer market and builds value. And a businessman uses the existing market and builds value. I hope I'm on the right path. So when we're talking about entrepreneur ecosystem, the core of it really lies in innovation. Are we on it? Right? I have never seen people talking about innovation ecosystem. We are always looking at the fag end of this because we are here for 10x wealth creation, you know. And it sounds more fascinating, more interesting because the groundwork is very boring. You know. What can we do for it? मुझे एक चीज़ समझ में है कि innovation in India is kind of unmanaged. It is absolutely chaotic. We don't know what is happening where, what is the space for it. वो मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ हम ऊंचाइयों की बात करते हैं पर जड़ों को कोई नहीं सींचता. फल आ जाएंगे, you know. Nobody is looking at the. मैं आपको एक कहानी सुनाना चाहता हूँ. 19 साल का लड़का है, ITI विदर्भा, यहाँ से 200 किलोमीटर दूर. His father wants 2 acres of land. Every summer the water becomes anxiety. Pumps run manually. Sometimes they forget to switch off. Water is wasted. Electricity wasted. राघव सोचता है कि यार ये what if the pump could shut automatically? He builds a crude switch. अपने स्क्रैप से एक स्विच बनाता है. आसपास जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट वाले हैं उसे प्राइज देते हैं, 25,000 का ग्रांट मिलता है, 25,000 एवरी ही इज पुट ऑन अ न्यूज़पेपर, एवरीवन क्लैप्स फॉर हिम. बहुत आगे जाएगा. बट हियर इज द प्रॉब्लम, देयर इज नो अहेड डिजाइंड फॉर हिम. कहाँ जाए ये आगे 25,000 रुपए लेकर? कहाँ जाए? द अप्लॉज एंड्स एंड द सिस्टम एंड्स. तालियां थमती हैं और फिर सपने भी. Unless there is a structure, right? Now imagine the same moment. Now invincible India exists, the idea that I thought I had. अगर इनविंसिबल इंडिया एग्जिस्ट करता तो क्या होता? इंस्टेड ऑफ गिविंग राघव अ चेक एंड गुड बाय, हम कहते हैं राघव अपना आइडिया अपलोड कर. He doesn't write in English, he speaks in Marathi, but the platform listens. Our vernacular NLP engine converts its spoken explanation into structured problem statement. Target user, proposed mechanism, estimated impact, and cost assumptions. For the first time, his idea looks like a professional product document. उसकी साइकोलॉजी शिफ्ट होती है. उसको लगता है मैं स्टूडेंट, सिर्फ मेरे पास हैक है. आई एम नॉट जस्ट अ स्टूडेंट विद अ हैक. स्टार्ट्स फीलिंग लाइक अ फाउंडर. आई हैव अ प्रोडक्ट, प्रोफेशनल प्रोडक्ट डॉक्यूमेंट विथ मी. नाउ दिस इज नॉट इंस्पिरेशन, दिस इज फॉर्मलाइजेशन ऑफ हिज आइडिया. द फॉर्मलाइजेशन क्रिएट्स कॉन्फिडेंस. बट ये आइडिया तो उसने दे दिया, अभी ये प्लेटफॉर्म के पास है, प्लेटफॉर्म कैन मेक यूज ऑफ इट, यू नो. So what do we do? हम कहते हैं कि now the system generates a cryptographic hash of his document, time stamped on a public blockchain. It's like a birth of certificate of your idea. That certificate is yours. He has a proof of its existence. Now why does this matter? Because fear kills sharing. मुझे डर है कि आप मेरा फायदा उठा लेंगे. सब शार्क्स बैठे ही हैं, है ना. एंड शेयरिंग इज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर स्केलिंग. मुझे हमेशा से लगता है कि डर खत्म हो जाता है ना तो विचार खुलकर सांस लेते हैं. प्रोटेक्शन इनेबल्स करेज, एंड करेज फाइनली इनेबल्स कोलैबोरेशन एंड इनोवेशन. द AI also then does a search for patents around the world. Okay. Now you have to understand this entire thing goes step by step. There are levels to this for Raghav to get to the final end point. He records his message as an idea. We give a birth stamp to his idea. After it has been checked around for patents, he gets a birth certificate. Now this is something that I find most important, क्योंकि आइडिया सबके पास है, बहुत लोगों के पास आइडिया है. And this is something we have devised calling grit score. Okay. Now the platform doesn't send him straight to a lab. It slows him down. It says, before building, prove demand. He must interview 10 farmers. कि भाई ये जो चीज़ें हैं, 10 फार्मर का मुझे इंटरव्यू लाके दे. एक शॉर्ट वीडियो क्लिप अपलोड करके क्या हो रहा है, तुम्हारा ये चीज़ कैसे बन रहा है. He must calculate cost of components. He must estimate price farmers are willing to pay for this. Each completed task increases his grit score. Sir, you are interested in knowing what grit score is? And this is important, you know. The platform doesn't just reward ideas, it rewards execution. And here is a subtle brilliance here. You know, investors later don't just see a pitch. They see a behavioral data. Did he actually speak to users? Did he refine? Did he iterate? And Raghav is not just guessing now. He's learning and the system is recording it. Okay? So when Raghav came onto the system, I'll go back to it. He gave his idea. It creates a document for him. It gives some Bitcoin stamped, time-stamped certificate. And then it unravels this next level, which is the grid. Once he crosses the grid level, we have this AI system, which what it does is it's sketch to engineering. Now a lot of people struggle with, they have designs but they don't know the CAD language. You know, how do I put into graphic design, which will be put for 3D printing to happen? Thankfully the AI does that for you. Okay. So after the validation, he uploads a hand-drawn circuit sketch. A computer vision engine converts into parametric CAD. He reviews the dimensions, makes adjustments, downloads the 3D printable file, which will come from the platform. This reduces dependency on expensive software knowledge because he doesn't know CAD now. वो बेचारा गांव में बैठा हुआ है 19 साल का लड़का, उसे नहीं आता ये. The distance between the village notebook and that fabrication machine, the 3D machine, that kind of shrinks now because he doesn't know the language. He has this. Now he has the 3D design ready with him. He can go to a 3D printing machine and is able to build that prototype in a certain way. But there's something very, very important. The system never removes the human agency. It's not taking the human out of it. The AI assists, the founder decides. Now this is something I find the most exciting part for me on this platform. I've seen that innovation without mentors is absolutely not happening. We need mentors. And what if there was a Tinder matchmaking for mentors and innovators? Gender hata dete. Mentors and innovators. The innovators have the grit scores of what their idea is, what their grit score is, and there's a mentor sitting there on the platform. They match, they come together. Now, these mentors are not random volunteers, sir. कि ऐसे कोई बैठा हुआ है, मैं volunteer करना चाहता हूँ इस idea के लिए. They are retired engineers, industry experts, product designers, startup founders, and unfortunately, with the way AI expanding, a lot of jobless engineers, which is what our world is heading to. We need to create something for them. We need that structure, hence Invincible India. Now, they see only validated founders. Why would they join? Why would the mentors come here? Is a very important question to ask. Because ये innovator के लिए तो समझ में आया, उसने बोला मेरे लिए कुछ हो जाएगा, but mentor क्या कर रहा है यहाँ पे? The best part is, one, they see only validated founders. So the mentor will see an innovator only after they have crossed all that grit level and then unravels to mentors coming in. So noise हट जाता है. They receive capped micro equity. This is the first time. Until now, the mentors have always been on government pay. Okay? The core idea of Invincible India is charity to equity. It's high time now that we reward our thinkers and mentors of this country. For the longest time, they have been running on charity. Government pay se chal rahi hai, unki zindagi chalti rehti hai, but it's time we give them equity into what's being built. Equity vests only upon milestone verification. Legal paperwork is automated. They build portfolio exposure without investing capital. This is advisory investing, not charity mentorship. Now imagine an irrigation engineer in Pune who sees Raghav's validated dossier. He swipes right, both agree. They define the milestones. Improved circuit efficiency, reduced cost by 12%, mentor batata hai Raghav ko. Weatherproof housing. Equity is linked to these. If mentor doesn't deliver, no vesting. If founder doesn't execute, no progression. Alignment, respect, structure. That's the core of it. Now once we have that, what we really need is the industrial bridge. And I had the great fortune to be in Hyderabad visiting tea hubs and tea works and the likes. And tea works, one of the India's biggest prototyping giant at this point of time. And I spoke to them, I understood what their problem is. There's so much noise coming in for them. So they have overwhelming noise. They are underprepared applicants, low success conversion. This is the problem that T-Works is facing. Okay? What are we doing? We have already cut the noise for them. Invincible India sends them a structured dossier, a validated PRD, CAD file, bill of materials, grid score, IP timestamp, and mentor notes. T-Works saves screening time to filter these people. They save this time. Machine time is used efficiently. Now T-Works receives a small equity participation, increased prototype success rate, national grassroots innovation positioning. T-Works plans to expand to various districts, all districts of Hyderabad at this point of time. Off topic, I truly believe this is a great time for investors to put in money and create prototypes, giants like T-Works. At this point, unfortunately, it's not sustainable, T-Works in its own, and they are really working hard to make it sustainable. Once it's become sustainable, I think we need to replicate that model around the country because it's the need of the hour. So we are not competing with labs, is what I want to tell you. We are supplying them refined talent. वो हम मंच नहीं छीन रहे हैं, हम उन्हें कलाकार तैयार करके दे रहे हैं. Basically बात ये है. Now the real question comes in: who pays for the prototype? Where does the money come from? So there are three layers to it. There's a founder contribution, small but real, which I would say the skin in the game. So we have a subscription base to this model. That's what we have thought of. That a student would pay about 100 rupees a month because we want to reach the most basic rural guy in this country. If he has an idea, he has an access to this. A professional would pay something around 500. If you're into machine learning, deep tech, maybe 2,000 rupees per month, per year subscription. The second layer is community micro equity. So, जब राघव ने ये pump बनाया है, so allowing the farmers to invest in it, that they need it, and it could be funded by the farmers around. And third, institutional innovation grants. But unlike grants, funds are milestone released. मतलब ये एक बार अपने 25,000 दे दिए, ऐसा नहीं है. ये ऐसा है कि आपने ये लेवल क्रॉस किया, उसके बाद आपको ये पैसे मिलते हैं. Prototype funds unlock only after validated threshold. Capital follows execution, not hope. It will only follow execution. Now, personally, while I was building this, I also thought, can VCs enter early? Because I wanted them to come in much later. You know, once the capital starts flowing, everyone wants profit. Everyone wants results right then. And when you're building, things may fail, things may fall apart. And I'm always scared of this VCs, and though they are the ones who are going to build. But डर तो मुझे हमेशा लगता था. So I said, yes, they could, but intelligently. We introduce observer access. तो आपका एक जो innovator है, उसको हमने एक certain level से rate किया हुआ है according to the grid score. And उसका उस वक्त trend क्या चल रहा है with his innovation, what he is trying to do. You as a VC have this access that you can actually see अरे ये कौन क्या क्या कर रहा है. Do I want to, if I want to, in his idea, invest at that point, you can, you're allowed to. So we create this observer access where you have all these options to jump in. आपको भाई ये founder है, ये चीज़ बना रहा है, इसका ये grid score है, हमारे हिसाब से ये trend चल रहा है, which is as per the algorithm of the app. The VC comes in and says, okay, I want to see this. He's doing a great job with his grid score. There's a great trend to it. Let me invest. So what we are doing is, it's not no immediate equity. It's just visibility through this observer access, right? If founder consistently hits his milestone, the VC can offer pre-seed safe at a structured terms. Early insight, reduced risk, behavioral history. And I think this is powerful. You're not just betting on charisma at this point of time, right? Because you have enough data to show where this is heading. And you're betting on this demonstrated grit. Now, how does this platform function? How does it survive? Now, the revenue streams, like I mentioned, is subscription. Students, rural professionals, and deep tech is how I look at it. And it's about I would say 99 to 2,000 rupees because I include deep tech into it. It doesn't mention this. The platform has, once the prototype is ready, the platform owns about 2 to 3% equity in the company, the institutional partnership fees, and premium investor dashboard access. So there are investors who can come and invest in the platform. Cloud costs are usage based. As AI costs reduce over time, margin will improve for the platform. And we do not rely on donations. That's absolutely clear. We want to absolutely break this idea that charity is what's going to fund this country, because like I said, I met 3 innovators in Hyderabad, and most of them came from this UNICEF and Inquilab coming together, where youth for social impact, and they would get an idea and they would be paid 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh, which is a very important validation needed for them at that point of time, but it doesn't do shit. Sorry for my lack of better word. So yeah, we don't rely on donations, and this structure is durable. Now, what we want to do is, imagine 5 years later, with Invincible India, it becomes the largest structured data set of grassroots innovation in India. That's the core idea. What is Invincible India trying to do? Invincible India wants to become the largest structured data set of grassroots innovations in India. It wants to be making sure that the entire innovation ecosystem, which we hardly talk about, comes under one umbrella. Now, I don't see many VCs, but if there are a lot of VCs around, I would have said that you have an access to thousands of validated builders, real behavioral data, regional innovation clusters, and de-risk deep tech pipelines. This becomes an early stage alpha engine. Does that make sense? And not just deal flow, signal flow. India's innovation nervous system. ये बनना है, ये करना चाहता हूँ. That's the ambition, that's the aspiration. But before I conclude, वापस से मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि 0 mile, we measured the distances from Nagpur, but today I hope we measured something else. We measured the distance between an idea and ownership, between talent and structure. वो 200 किलोमीटर दूर जो राघव है ना, जो बना रहा है, उसको sympathy नहीं चाहिए. He's asking for a system, he's not asking for a grant. He's asking for protection. He's asking for a pathway. If a 19-year-old can build a solution for water scarcity from scrap parts, the problem is not in genius. The problem is us. चिंगारी हर गांव में है. हमने भट्टी नहीं लगाई. Now, we can sit down and celebrate the unicorns, and we should absolutely. But unicorns are outcomes. Innovation is the origin. If we want India to be this 10 trillion, 20 trillion, 50 trillion, we can just throw numbers that we want and desire, and we can keep hearing these numbers all the time. Has no relevance in our real life. But if we want these numbers to be coming true, and if you want sovereignty in deep tech, if you want rural prosperity to mean ownership and not subsidy, क्योंकि हम subsidy पे दे रहे हैं सब कुछ, वोट भी इसी नाम पे मिल जाता है, then we cannot keep clapping for ideas. क्या idea था यार, आगे बढ़ेगा तू. We have to do more than that. We must structure them, we must protect them, we must invest in them before they are fashionable. To the investors in this room, you don't just fund companies, you fund the future architecture of this nation. You have accelerated startups. Now help us build the soil from which they grow. Because if we do this right, the next wave of unicorns will not come only from Bangalore, they will come from Vidarbha, from Bihar, from a small village, Bari Raibhan, where I come from. I hope one day there is an innovator coming from there, starting a startup, and say कि यार ये Invincible India का idea था इसलिए मैं कर पाया. from the smallest of ITIs in India. And when that happens, India doesn't just scale. India owns it. Invincible India does not begin in Delhi. It does not begin in Silicon Valley. It begins wherever one idea is protected. And today, it begins here. Thank you guys. सर बहुत बोर तो नहीं, आप सोए नहीं, बच गया।
तो आप लोगों को समझ में आ गया होगा कि खाकी द बिहार चैप्टर या ओ रोमियो इतना ज़बरदस्त परफॉर्मेंस कहाँ से आया? कैन वी हैव यू हियर फॉर Q&A सेशन? As a moderator, I will take the privilege of asking the first question, but definitely that will be the last question from my side, because if you have any questions, we will definitely take this up. कहीं तो भी एक प्रेजेंट इकोसिस्टम जो है उसके अगेंस्ट थोड़ा एंग्स्ट नज़र आ रहा है. सो एंड प्लस द आइडिया ऑब्वियसली it sounds very utopian idea because this is something which is still in development stage. So why that angst for present system?
सर क्या है, मैं एक्टर हूँ. हमारी इंडस्ट्री में आपने आउटसाइडर इनसाइडर गेम सुना ही होगा. क्या होता है आउटसाइडर?
I have no idea.
एक आदमी जो एक बाहर से आता है, उसके पास कोई स्ट्रक्चर एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता सर, है ना. और उस स्ट्रक्चर को मैंने जब शुरू किया काम सर, उसके बाद मुझे 15 साल लग गए सिर्फ इस पॉइंट पे पहुंचने में जहाँ पे मेरी पहली फिल्म रिलीज हो सके. ना होता क्या है हमारे यहाँ, एंड इट्स अ फैक्ट कि वी से नथिंग सक्सीड्स लाइक सक्सेस. जब आप सक्सेसफुल हो जाते हैं तो कहानियाँ बन जाती हैं. अब मैंने ये किया, मैंने वो किया, मैंने वो किया. I've realized that how we look at success is so myopic. If I have to say, let's say in today's time, everyone kind of knows Usain Bolt. Does anyone know Tyson Gay?
Yes.
There are a couple. I'm glad. Now Tyson Gay is 0.10 seconds behind Usain Bolt. 0.10. Usain Bolt's height is 6 feet 5 inches. Tyson Gay's height is 5 feet 10 inches. There is a 7-inch height difference. Tyson Gay needs 45-46 strides to complete 100 meters. Usain Bolt just needs 41 strides. Who is truly the fastest, sir?
Obviously, Tyson Gay. Relatively.
Nobody knows about him. That's the reality of it. And then you ask me why their angst. If I see things for the way it is, you will have angst. I feel people who are not seeing are living in the utopian world.
Okay, I will interrupt you, but ऐसा तो नहीं था ना कि टाइसन गे को रोक के रखा था.
नहीं.
There were equal opportunities.
Tyson Gay has the opportunity, but you're celebrating what? It comes on to what are you celebrating. I'm also saying today's time. Who is the fastest marathoner? The one who runs 42 kilometers. One person knows it. You know who's celebrated? So where and how you're looking at success, and this is saying something about today. We are valuing speed over endurance. Is that true in today's time? So it's my answer to those things, that you glorify something to a point where the other starts, even he is no less, he starts feeling lesser. So that's where the angst comes from, sir.
So, and about the innovation part.
I will come to that. So, what I do feel is, what we're doing with the Invincible India is we're not creating anything new, sir. We're not building anything new. Everything here is already existing. We're just putting it together in a way that it becomes a road and structure for people to go and do something. And unfortunately, this should have been done. I'm surprised it doesn't exist right now. And because it doesn't exist, I said, why not jump into it? Can I formalize it? Can I put it in a way that I can create a system that one man who has an idea can reach to this point of prototyping, and once the prototype happens, there's crowdfunding and VC funding available. उसके बाद आपका entrepreneur journey शुरू होता है sir. Can I build this for people? And when I know when I build the road, I will make the money out of it, sir. Because everyone wants to make 10 times money, no? इधर इसीलिए आए ना सब. So पहले रास्ता बना देते हैं, उसके बाद अपने आप बन जाएंगे. लेकिन नहीं, हम उधर बैठे रहेंगे कि अरे इधर से एक टूटी हुए रास्ते से कुछ तो बन के निकलेगा, कूदेंगे, then we'll call vultures and sharks, है ना? So मैं ये चाह रहा हूँ सर कि ये ऐसी जगह हो जाए जहाँ पे true democratization of ideas. Because it's all automated, what it's really happening is ये चलना उसको किसी तरह से करके यहाँ मेरे लिए वो ये सारी चीज़ें ख़त्म हो जाती है. You are truly valued at how you execute, what your idea is.
So that idea should flow from all places.
Yeah.
And that's where that platform will come into play.
Absolutely.
कि जहाँ पे entry is free.
Yeah, like you just mentioned, somebody that you're mentioning, they want to go to villages and get 100 ideas, and the 100 ideas में दो choose करेंगे. उनको जाने की ज़रूरत नहीं. Come to Invincible India, we have those 2 ideas ready, filtered for you. So the 2 ideas that you're going and searching for, come to Invincible India and you have it ready for you.
तो आपको ये आइडिया कहाँ से आया?
किसका?
Invincible India.
Invincible India, sir, ये बहुत ही if I really get to it, it's very very strange. Like I was mentioning it to you. I was in Spain, I was shooting for O Romeo, and I was also reading Philosophy of Nature by Newton. I've always been interested in physics, and one of my teachers who taught me physics always taught me physics as philosophy. I hope you had any one of you ever had a teacher like that? Yeah, and it kind of created a curiosity since then. उसमें ना वो conversation था the apple falling, Newton's apple falling. Now obviously it's a folklore. We know it. ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि apple गिरा और Newton के दिमाग में, right? It's a folklore. Now, but let's assume that it is not. Let's assume that this is something that really happened. Now that apple must have fallen 15,000 times. Maybe Newton has already seen it 3 times. But this thought never occurred to him. But that particular day, now we call it grace of God. We call it timing. एक चीज तो समझ में आती है, टाइमिंग बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती है. Secondly, when that apple fell, there must be 15 questions that must have come into his head. But the question that he decided to answer first led him into this direction. I realized that somewhere your personal philosophies are very, very integral part of what drives you, where you go and you reach in your journey. तो मैं फिजिक्स और फिलोसोफर मैं उन दोनों को लेकर बैठा हुआ था. क्या है, साइंसेस शुड हेल्प ईच अदर, philosophers should be helping physicists should be helping, and thinkers and doers, and suddenly the idea of mentors, and how disregarded and unrewarded this segment has been of mentors, of teachers in this entire country. It's only now, and so happy to know that Ether Energy was incubated at IIT Madras, and finally a national institute has some equity in a company. That is such a, I really want to clap for that, guys, because that is what really needs to happen. That is the advisory investment I'm talking about. You're building and creating investment, not just people throwing money, you know. Because yes, in the idea of capitalism, and that is where my angst lies, sir, we were a socialist country, and now the world is capitalistic. I have always been slightly scared of absolute capitalism, because that is the end of capitalism. We see how monopolies are existing, 7 companies in the world ruling the entire world, and we are saying capitalism is surviving. Really? Is this capitalism? So there is absolute complete blockage of distribution of stuff. So whenever you're throwing money and you have money, you'll always have the capital with you. I will never be able to compete with you, sir. So you can be sitting there, but if I build this, then this creates an opportunity for someone to get to a point where you come in with money. I will have something that I can build myself with. And that is where this idea came up, that I have to build this highway. I have to build this system that here, this is what they are celebrating. उससे पहले का तो किसी को लेना देना ही नहीं है. तो आप आएंगे वो बिरयानी खाने सर. Like a friend of mine invested in a biryani company. Amol Parashar is an actor, and which is wonderful. But मैं सोच रहा हूँ कि जहाँ चावल उग रहा है, ये कितने ज़्यादा ज़मीन पे पानी, water levels are falling down, and आधी दुनिया millets बनाना चाह रही है, If I had the entire ecosystem from land to rice to everything, तू बिरयानी बनाए, पुलाव बनाए, तू जो बनाए, that's secondary, right? तो आप तो सेकंड लास्ट धंधे पे हो. चावल मेरा, ज़मीन मेरी, बना ले बिरयानी, है ना? तो मैं वहाँ आया सर कि आप बिरयानी बेच रहे हो, मैं ज़मीन और चावल मेरा है सर, अब बनाओ पैसे. तो पैसे बनाने तो यहाँ आओ सर.
It will be more than 10x. It will be more than 10x.
Absolutely. So when we are talking 10x, I'm saying come here, get the land, get the rice, not the biryani, which is what everyone is looking at. So that is how I thought, and I said this is the time for it. This is the time for it in India, and especially because of AI and of what's happening. I like I said, I'm half an engineer, I call myself, because चौथे semester में मैंने छोड़ दी engineering. But I know for a fact that with the times, the amount of joblessness that's going to happen, the amount of talent that's going to be existing which doesn't know what to do, and not that there is lack of any idea and talent in this country. How do we create a structure for it, sir? Tell me a conversation where we talk about the structure for these things. And why not angst, sir? Why shouldn't, I feel every one of these young people should be filled with angst. Because it's easier for the 50s and 60s having they lived their lives to sit there and say 50, अरे 10 गुना 20 गुना पैसा कमाएंगे, क्योंकि पैसा बनाया है उन्होंने. जो वहाँ से शुरू कर रहा है, जिसके पास फूटी कौड़ी नहीं है, वो 10 times नहीं सोचता सर. इसलिए I've always believed this idea of dreams, desires, passion, purpose, goals, ambition, ये जिनका survival तय हो जाता है ना सर, वही सोच पाते हैं. For everyone else, you're just looking कि मैं किसी तरह से 2 वक्त की रोटी कमा लूँ. How do you create that structure that they get beyond this is what the idea is. And I truly feel, अभी मैं ये बोलता हूँ ये बनाना है, अगर ये बन गया तो पैसे कैसे नहीं बनेंगे. So my first thought is not money. My first thought is let's build this. I don't care what it is, let's build this structure. Money has to flow.
Okay. Any questions? Yes, lady.
I'm really scared. I don't know much.
First of all, I really appreciate that you're sitting in Mumbai among the stars and still thinking of rural India and the small towns. I really appreciate your idea and your effort. Now I understand that this app, Invincible India, is still in a prototype phase. I wanted to ask, when is it going up and live?
I wish I had the answer to it, because there's a lot of work needed for it. First of all, and also these are few learnings that I'm having. Like I said, it's developing over a period of time. I'm meeting people. There might be a lot of loopholes in this which I'm not able to see, right? I don't know everything. Exactly. So I'm also pitching it out so that people can point out the flaws to it, okay? So that I can learn better and understand it. At this point, when I spoke to T-Works and the CEOs of T-Works and trying to understand how this can work, one thing that they mentioned to me, and that's something that I can take on, is that said, Avinash, there is no face to this research and innovation ecosystem. We need to put a face to it. And would you want to claim it? Genuinely, he asked. And it's a scary feeling because, it's a big idea, big responsibility. What I think needs to happen before the platform goes out is that this idea needs to be validated. It needs that every person truly who is going to be an innovator feels that we need this. So there needs to be a more conversation. I have given 6 to 8 months from we've already started on it, but 6 to 8 months to build that up. Like I go to every innovation center, labs, communicate, get them on camera, put my face on it, put it out there, because I can probably get some leverage because of what I do. I can probably get 5 minutes to sit with someone only because I'm an actor. So I want to use that leverage that I have to build this and create information, education for this. Once those things are in place, because there's a lot of technological work needed on it, and it's only my money going in at this point of time. I wish I was able to build more bigger team. I had more funds on it. Also, this is a second thing that I'm doing. My primary job is acting. So it's that platform, I think, would take about a year and a half or maybe more to come into place. But before that, the first steps is to build this education about this ecosystem, putting my face into it, hoping that people let me claim this face. And if that happens, then this platform will be easily, assimilated to rural countries. Mentors will be willing to be a part of it, because for me, the strength of this is the mentors. The strength for me is, I was at T-Works and I was seeing this cryogenic rocket that they were working on, okay? And some retired ISRO scientist was helping them. And it was just such a beautiful thought that someone who's sitting there can come on an app and say, swipe, मैं बैठा हूँ घर पे, कुछ नहीं, government के pension मिलते हैं. I'm so excited by this idea. I'll help build this and hold equity into it. मेरा 5% इक्विटी है इसके अंदर, मैं बनाया है घर पे बैठ के जब मैं रिटायर्ड बैठा हुआ हूँ. It's so empowering for the mentors and teachers of this country. It gives opportunities to the innovators. It gives equity for giants like T-Works into this. So I just got so excited with it. These are the first steps. The first 8 to 10 months would be claiming this research and innovation space, educating people about it, going to various institutes, forming relationships with them. Once we are able to do that, then we introduce the platform so that people can start flowing in. So there's a lot of groundwork that is, at this point, we're doing the groundwork before the virtual technological jump happens.
You have a question.
हेलो, बोल दे, मैं सुन लूँगा यार, उसके लिए से बोल दे.
हेलो सर, गुड आफ्टरनून. I am Avinash Tiwary and founder of Human Capital Private Limited. My question is protection before exposure वो आपने मेंशन किया था. तो जैसे कि कोई फर्स्ट जनरेशन एंटरप्रेन्योर होता है, किसी का फैमिली बिजनेस होता है, तो फर्स्ट जनरेशन एंटरप्रेन्योर के लिए कैसा होता है, अभिमन्यु में जैसी सिचुएशन रहती है, वो चक्रव्यूह में फंस गया, वो गाना पीछे बैकग्राउंड में बज रहा रहता है, अभिमन्यु चक्रव्यूह में फंस गया है, क्योंकि उसको कोई मेंटर नहीं रहता, कोई नहीं रहता. तो वो क्या करता है, वो मेरे जैसा रहता है, तो वो क्या करेगा कि कोशिश करने वाली की कभी हार नहीं होती, लेकिन बेइज्जती बार बार होती है.
क्या बात है.
तो बेशरम रहेगा तो वो पूछेगा, नहीं तो
क्वेश्चन क्या है?
नहीं तो
अच्छा था सर.
तो सर मैं वही पूछ रहा हूँ
जी.
क्वेश्चन क्या है,
प्लीज 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 प्लीज.
तो वो बेइज्जती बार बार होती है, तो फिर कोई इंट्रोवर्ट होता है तो वो पूछता ही नहीं. तो लेकिन कैसा होता है, जो बिजनेस बैकग्राउंड का होता है उनको फैमिली सपोर्ट रहता है, तो अपन भी उनको पूछने को जाते हैं, तो वो लेकिन उनकी भी फैमिली है, तो वो पहले उनको सपोर्ट करेंगे ना. तो फिर ऐसे इसमें आपने जो बोला था प्रोटेक्शन बिफोर एक्सपोजर, तो फिर अभी कोई भी चीज़ को अपन सामने रखेंगे नहीं, तो फिर वो आगे कैसे बढ़ेंगे?
नहीं, तो प्रोटेक्शन ओवर एक्सपोजर क्या है, क्या मैं वो समझाता हूँ आपको. आपके पास आइडिया है, आपकी फैमिली बिजनेस हो नहीं हो, आपको कुछ नहीं आता, तो आपके पास आइडिया है, आपको ये चीज़ बनाने आती है, हो गया. आपने मेरे को आइडिया दिया, मैं क्या करूँगा, आपके आइडिया को रिकॉर्ड किया, उसका PRD बनाया. AI सर्च करेगा कि ऐसा पेटेंट एग्जिस्ट करता है क्या, हाँ नहीं करता है. तो आपको प्रोटेक्शन मतलब क्या, ब्लॉकचेन पे आपका आइडिया इस समय पर, आज के 5:10 पे आपका आइडिया आपने हमको दिया और ये आपका है, क्योंकि हमने सर्च मारा है, पब्लिकली एग्जिस्ट नहीं करता है, तो ये आपका आइडिया हो गया हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म पे, है ना. आपको प्रोटेक्शन मिल गया कि ये आपका IP है. ऐसा नहीं कि आपने मेरे ऐप पे भेजा है, ये प्लेटफॉर्म पे आइडिया दिया है तो मैंने बना लिया, है ना. हो सकता है ना कोई और देख के बना लेगा, आपको लगेगा अरे मैं दे रहा हूँ आइडिया, कोई और बना लिया, तो वो प्रोटेक्शन है. उसके बाद एक्सपोज कि आपका पहले आपका आइडिया है, फिर हम आपको एक्सपोज करते हैं अच्छा दुनिया में क्या है क्या नहीं क्या नहीं। तो वो है प्रोटेक्शन ओवर एक्सपोजर। हाँ जी,
विल टेक वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन।
सर ये क्वेश्चन मेरा भी है
जी
अगर हम कोई भी छोटा मोटा काम करते हैं,
जी
बिजनेस करते हैं और मतलब अपने रिलेटिव्स को ही बताते हैं, तो वो पहले ये पूछता है कि कमा क्या रहा है, आप समझ रहे हैं। जबकि फॉरेन की जो कंपनीज है उनका अगर आप स्ट्रक्चर देखिए तो वो कैसा है, 8-10 ईयर लॉस खाते रहते हैं, लेकिन उनका मार्केट वैल्यूएशन बढ़ता है, आप समझ रहे हैं। सर जो भी मैंने आपका स्पीच सुना, मतलब आपने ज़्यादातर रहे सर सोशलिज्म पे ज़्यादा आपका मतलब ये है।
नहीं सर, आप बोलो, आप बोल लीजिए। हाँ बोलिए।
और सर मैं भी मतलब लाइफ के काफ़ी टाइम्स देखे हैं, खुद का एक अपना एक सर्विस जॉब कर लेना या जॉब कर लेना बहुत आसान होता है। जब देखिए जब बिजनेस में आता है एक मिडिल क्लास लड़का तो उसको काफ़ी स्ट्रगल करता है, समझ रहे हैं। सर एक चीज़ मैं आपसे ये पूरा एक चीज़ इकोनॉमिक्स का मेरा सब्जेक्ट, मैं भी हाफ इंजीनियर
जी
ड्रॉपआउट। तो सर मैं एक क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ, उसका एक्सप्लेन आप थोड़ा सा कर दीजिएगा, मैंने प्रॉब्लम नहीं बता दी ये सब चीज़ों से। एक इकोनॉमिक्स की किताब में फ्रंट पे मतलब मेन इसमें लिखा था, इफ यू आर नॉट ए सोशलिस्ट अप टू द एज 25, इट शोज दैट यू डोंट हैव द हार्ट, but if you continue after the 25, it shows that you don't have the head. That
So-
is the proverb of the Spanish king. Relation with the
Can I give my quote to this? जो आपने सुना है, क्योंकि आपने दूसरों की बात सुननी मान ली है ना।
Yes, sir, that is a fact.
नहीं ऐसे तो मैं ये कहता हूँ, मैं अपने आप को दिमाग से कैपिटलिस्ट, दिल से सोशलिस्ट बोलता हूँ, है ना। कि दिमाग मेरा कैपिटलिस्ट ही है, दिल सोशलिस्ट है। आप अपने आप से दिमाग अलग और 25 में दिमाग अलग और दिल अलग कर रहे हैं। मैंने बोला ये पूरी एक बॉडी में कैपिटलिस्ट और सोशलिस्ट एग्जिस्ट करता है। नाउ आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल टू व्हाट यू आर सेइंग द इकोनॉमिक्स ऑफ इट। अमेज़न है, अमेज़न पे क्या होता है सर, जिसको अपना धंधा बेचना होता है प्रोडक्ट बेचता है ना, जिसको खरीदना खरीदता है। अब उसमें जो पैसा बना रहा नहीं बना रहा वो अमेज़न से तो कोई लेना देना नहीं है कि नहीं। उसने एक स्पेस बनाया जहां पे आप आके खरीद बेच कर सकते हो। अग्रीड। मैंने एक प्लेटफॉर्म बनाया जहां पे आप अपनी कोई चीज बनाना चाहो तो बना सकते हो। अगर नहीं बनी तो प्लेटफॉर्म थोड़ी जिम्मेदार है उसके लिए। प्लेटफॉर्म उस इकोनॉमिक्स में डिपेंड नहीं करता। वीसी अपने हिसाब से पैसा लगा रहा है, आइडिया अपने आप से बंदा ला रहा है। द इकोनॉमिक्स विल रिटेन इटसेल्फ। जैसा वो, अगर वो प्रोडक्ट का कोई वैल्यू होगा तो बनेगा। मेरे पास 10,000 आइडिया आएंगे, मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि 500 रुपए देके 10,000 लोग आते हैं, सबके आइडिया थोड़ी बनने वाले हैं, है ना।
सर वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट क्रिएटिंग 10x 20x 100x, और उसके लिए जो रिस्क है वो तो ऑब्वियसली लेना ही पड़ेगा। सो इट इज़ नॉट अबाउट बीइंग सोशलिस्ट और कैपिटलिस्ट। और
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, अमेरिका से जो आपने अमेज़न की बात की, वो क्या आपने मतलब इंडिया से नहीं consider किया?
इंडिया से
मैंने आपको
रिस्क
नहीं, मुझे
रिस्क
आपको
टेकिंग कैपेसिटी जो है
मेरी खुद की अपनी मार्केटिंग
जी, मुझे आप प्लेटफॉर्म को रिलेटेड बात करेंगे तो ज्यादा मुझे बेहतर समझ में आएगा।
सर आई थिंक
बेसिक जो है
we will do one thing, we can take this after session also, because see we are running out of time. Please, I will have to stop it. So, really sorry about it.
We'll talk sir. I definitely want to answer you. हम बाहर मिलकर बात करते हैं।
So thank you very much, and I hope you really enjoyed this session. And on behalf of CIMCON, there is a small token of appreciation from
Oh, so sweet sir.
Thank you
sir.
And ये पेन है, so you sign checks.
सर अब तो सब थैंक यू जी।